The tension between humor and humility is one of the oldest balancing acts in marriage, and Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, longtime lovebirds and co-hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark, just proved it again in the most hilariously awkward way. What started as a playful on-air joke from Mark quickly turned into a sharp, yet good-natured snub from Kelly that left the studio audience gasping and laughing. A flirtatious joke gone awry. During Tuesday's broadcast of Live, the couple had been discussing a segment about celebrity crushes, specifically, how often fans admit to being infatuated with famous couples rather than individuals. It was lighthearted enough, until Mark, perhaps feeling cheeky, leaned back in his chair and said with a grin, "You know, some of Kelly's friends have admitted that if I weren't married, they'd marry me in a heartbeat." The audience chuckled. Kelly, on the other hand, froze. With the perfect blend of amusement and disbelief, she turned to him, her eyebrows arching dramatically. "Oh really?" she asked, her tone dripping with that practiced mix of mock irritation and genuine disbelief that every spouse learns over time. "I'd love to know which friends these are. Because I wouldn't get too confident." Laughter erupted, but there was an undeniable undercurrent, a mix of playfulness and razor-sharp wit that Kelly has mastered over decades of live television. The moment lingered. Mark laughed awkwardly, perhaps realizing his joke had landed in the danger zone. "I'm just saying," he continued, backpedaling with a sheepish grin. "I mean, who wouldn't want to marry me?" Without missing a beat, Kelly shot back, "Apparently me, after this segment." The audience roared. The couple's signature chemistry, and clash. Fans of Live are used to Kelly and Mark's fiery chemistry. Their 28-year marriage has always played out as an entertaining dance between flirtation, affection, and mild exasperation, a dynamic that makes them both relatable and irresistibly watchable. This latest exchange, however, seemed to hit a more personal note. Mark, ever the charming instigator, looked a little stunned as Kelly leaned into her microphone and added, "You do realize the only reason my friends like you is because they see you putting up with me. It's a novelty." The moment went viral almost instantly, with social media lighting up with clips of the exchange. Viewers debated whether Kelly was genuinely annoyed or simply hamming it up for comedic effect, though, as anyone married for decades knows, the truth usually lies somewhere in between. "Kelly Ripa has perfected the art of the playful snub," one viewer tweeted. "You can feel the love and the eye roll at the same time. A familiar pattern of playful fire." This wasn't the first time Kelly and Mark's on-air banter had veered into domestic comedy territory. Just a few weeks earlier, Kelly had teased Mark for fishing for compliments after he called himself the fittest dad on TV. And before that, she jokingly accused him of mansplaining when he tried to correct her on a trivia question. But this particular exchange struck a chord because it tapped into something deeply human, the fine line between teasing and testing boundaries in long-term relationships. Kelly's "I wouldn't get too confident" remark wasn't just witty, it was grounded in the reality that even the strongest marriages thrive on mutual respect, and knowing when to laugh versus when to back down. After all, Kelly Ripa isn't just Mark's wife, she's his equal on air, his company host, and one of the sharpest minds in daytime television. It's what makes their partnership both endearing and combustible. Behind the laughter, Kelly's perspective. Later that day, an insider close to the couple reportedly shared that Kelly wasn't actually angry, but did want to make sure the humor stayed balanced. According to the source, Kelly loves when they joke around, but she's always aware of how it plays to viewers. If Mark looks a little too self-congratulatory, she'll bring him right back down to earth, with love, of course. Kelly herself has spoken before about maintaining authenticity in her marriage, both on and off camera. In a past interview, she said, "Mark and I joke a lot, but it's because we've been through everything together. We know each other's limits. And we also know how to laugh at ourselves, that's the glue." Still, her quick response on air showed that she's not one to let any hint of arrogance slide, even in jest. It's a balance that's made her one of the most beloved and formidable hosts in television. Mark's reaction and gentle recovery. After the segment, Mark did what he does best, laughed it off. As they transitioned into the next topic, he placed a hand over his heart and said, "Okay, lesson learned. No jokes about Kelly's friends." Kelly smiled sweetly and said, "Good boy," before adding, "You can keep your admirers. I've got better things to do." Mark laughed, playfully bowing his head in mock defeat, and the show moved on. But the exchange lingered online for hours, dissected, memed, and adored by fans who love the couple's authenticity. One comment summed it up perfectly: "They're that couple who can fight flirt, and laugh all in 30 seconds. That's real love. The dynamic that defines them. Ripa and Consuelo's relationship has always thrived on this kind of spirited interplay. They first met on the set of All My Children in the mid-1990s, where their chemistry was so undeniable that it spilled off-screen. Their elopement in 1996 became the stuff of soap opera legend, spontaneous, passionate, and wholly unconventional. Over the years, their careers have intertwined and diverged, but their connection has remained strong. From raising 3 children to navigating fame and co-hosting a national talk show, their marriage has been lived in the public eye, with all the scrutiny that entails. What sets them apart is their willingness to let viewers see the messy, funny, imperfect side of marriage. Kelly has never shied away from sharing candid details, from Mark's snoring habits to his overzealous workouts. Mark, in turn, often jokes about how terrifyingly competent his wife is. Together, they've created an on-screen rapport that feels less like performance and more like a masterclass in chemistry. Fans rally behind Kelly. The internet being what it is, fans naturally took sides in the friendly spat. Some defended Mark's comment as harmless humor, while others applauded Kelly's clapback as a reminder that confidence shouldn't slide into cockiness. Kelly Ripa is the queen of witty retaliation, one user posted on Instagram. She doesn't just snub, she educates. Another fan wrote, I love that Kelly always keeps Mark humble. You can tell he adores her even more for it. Indeed, the entire episode seemed to reinforce their dynamic rather than strain it. Theirs is a marriage built on laughter and resilience, and a mutual understanding that sometimes love means knowing exactly how to take each other down a peg, gently. Humor is their love language. What's fascinating about Kelly and Mark's public relationship is how they use humor as a kind of communication tool. They don't shy away from teasing or even mild disagreement, instead, they turn it into entertainment, for themselves and their audience. Relationship experts often note that humor can be one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness, as long as it's rooted in affection rather than hostility. Kelly and Mark seem to embody that principle perfectly. Every jab carries a wink, every snub ends in a smile. And perhaps that's why moments like this resonate so deeply with fans. They see in Kelly and Mark not perfection, but partnership, the kind that evolves, laughs, and occasionally stumbles live on air. The morning after. A peaceful reset. By the next morning, the mini feud had already cooled. Kelly posted a photo on Instagram of her and Mark getting ready backstage, captioned simply, still married. Still laughing. Mark commented with 3 heart emojis and the words, wouldn't trade you for the world, are your friends. Fans flooded the post with supportive messages, with one writing, the fact that you two can roast each other and still look this in love. Goals. A lesson in modern marriage. If there's a takeaway from the latest live incident, it's that marriage, especially a marriage lived so publicly, is as much about adaptation as it is about affection. Kelly's sharp humor isn't cruelty, it's control. It's the way she sets boundaries, reclaims the narrative, and keeps her marriage grounded in equality. Mark's ability to laugh and accept those moments with grace shows the strength of their bond. They've built a relationship where honesty doesn't threaten love, it reinforces it. In a culture obsessed with curated perfection, Kelly and Mark continue to show that real love is unscripted, imperfect, and occasionally snarky. It's about being secure enough to take a joke, and self-aware enough to know when one goes too far. The closing moment. As Thursday's live episode wrapped up, Kelly gave Mark a sly grin after he complimented her dress. Oh, she said, so now you're flirting with me instead of my friends. Mark laughed, lifting his coffee mug in a mock toast. Learning from the best. She smiled, shaking her head affectionately. Smart man. The audience cheered, and the show faded to its closing credits, another morning of laughter, love, and the kind of playful tension that only 2 people who truly know each other could pull off. In the end, Kelly Ripa's snub wasn't a sign of resentment, it was proof of intimacy. Because in their world, a little fire keeps the love alive. And for a couple that's been setting daytime TV ablaze for decades, that spark shows no sign of dimming anytime soon.